the Honey Queen here, and I had a lot of good questions from several people on how to cook with honey, especially you, Tiffany. This one's for you, because you said you've never cooked with honey before. So I'm going to show you how to convert a regular recipe that uses sugar using honey. This is a real recipe I got from my friend Michelle in Wrightwood, California. So we're going to take some honey, of course, and we'll have some warm water. I always use Southeast, salt, flour, and butter. That's all the ingredients you're going to need to make these rolls. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dissolve the yeast into the warm water, not too hot because you don't want to kill it. And after that dissolves, then I will add the rest of these ingredients right here, the butter, honey, and salt. And then when it starts to bubble, then I know it's ready to add the flour. So we'll stop here while I mix those, and we'll be back, and I'll show you how it looks like when it's ready. It's starting about 6 to 10 minutes. See you in a minute. So what I did is I took 3 cups of warm water, and then I used that same container to put the honey in because it's really easy to have it slide out of. I put 3 tablespoons of the yeast, 1 tablespoon of the salt. Actually, I dissolved the yeast in the water first. Then I added the salt and half a cup of butter, which was 1 cube. And the honey, it called for sugar, it called for a half a cup of honey. So you're going to decrease always by 1/4 a cup. I've done this demonstration so many times over this whole valley, over several states, that I have this recipe memorized now. So 1/4 less of a half would be 1/4 a cup. So I put that in there. And this is what it looks like. Pull this off. So you can see that. I'll zoom in.
Thank you.
You can see that. Now I used to melt the butter before I put it in there, but I found out if the butter's just a little softened and not totally melted, that you will get a better consistency on your roll. So I'm going to start adding the flour next. It calls for 5 to 8 cups of flour, just depending on the weather. Today it's a little chilly outside, the wind's blowing, so it may take less. And because I changed adding honey instead of sugar, which is a liquid and not a solid, I may have to add a little more flour to get that consistency. So I'm going to add 4 at a time, 4 cups, mix it, and then I'll start adding 1 at a time until it gets not sticky, but where it kind of pulls away. So we'll return when I have that, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I only ended up using 7 cups of flour, and if you notice, when I put 4 in, it was still sticky. It would stick to my finger when I push my finger in there, and nothing comes to it. So I ended up adding 1 at a time, made sure it was very, very smooth. So I'm gonna let this set for 10 minutes. I did scrape down the sides quite a bit between each one, just to make sure all the flour got mixed in. So that's gonna set for 10 minutes. While that's setting, I'm going to melt 1/4 a cup of butter on this pan. I like to use the Pampered Chef pans because it just turns out crispier and tastes better and brown. You can use the cookie sheets, you can use glass pans. I mean, all those work, but my kids favor this one. So we'll be back shortly. I'll show you how to roll these. Okay, so we're 10 minutes back. I have melted the butter here, and I'm going to show you how Rosie rolls her rolls. She taught me how. She's up from Wrightwood, California also. So I get off all my stuff here. You can roll them in any size you want, size of a golf ball, orange, or get a little butter on my hands. And we're going to do this whole pan here. This is a stoneware, like I said before. So you roll it like this. It's about the size I want them. And you can do them smaller or bigger. Once you get like that, you fold it in. And then I dip it in the butter and flip it over. And I'm going to do that on all these rows, and we'll come back after I fill this pan. I am going to cook it. It calls for 375, but that was with sugar. You want to decrease it by 25 degrees. So not 375, it's going to be 350. It was 20 minutes, but I'm going to cook it probably 25, just a little bit longer. Honey burns, so you want to be very careful. So those are some tips. If you notice, I've already cleaned up. A good cook is a clean cook. Remember your tips on the honey. 1/4 less in amount, 25 degrees less, and cook just a little bit longer. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so here we have it. They're all rolled. And as you can tell, these look bigger than that, but these will eventually get as big as those. We'll leave them in the oven for, well, it's actually going to raise for about 15 minutes. I'll put it in the oven, and then I'll pull it out when it's light brown, which is about 25 minutes. I'll type this all below in the description. So, cover these babies, wait for them to raise. All right, there we go, there's the end. So just remember to look down below so you know what goes in it and how to cook it. Are you not filming right now?
Yeah, your gloves.
Oh my gloves. All right, so I'm going to put creamed honey on this or honey butter, and that's in another episode. Funny girl. Have a sweet day.